I recently decided it might be fun to do some product photos. After all, can't use these macro extension tubes just for all the beautiful native plants that we have out here. Now, this is a hell of a lens to do it with. And this lamp is not. So what I've got going on here is that right there is a cord heading over to this right here. Press button, get photo. Granted, that was out of focus because, well, the camera looking at the camera was out of focus. So let's try that one again. Beautiful. So that allows you to shoot with these rather tight apertures. That's f10, which is, well, let's just say we're not exactly shooting wide open. This is 2 seconds of time that we're doing each exposure for. So if we wanted to get even wider focus with these macro ranges, what we could do is stop open the aperture even further. Now, that was, what, a million stops? So we're gonna have to spend a while. Let's see what a 30-second exposure winds up looking like. This is gonna be a whole lot of nothing that you see. So no joke, this is the reason why the remote that I have has a mode where you can program how long you want to have the shutter open. And you'll be able to walk away from it then. So that actually turned out to be a reasonable estimate of the time to leave the shutter open. That's a beautiful photograph right there. Now, the tighter your aperture is, the wider the range of distances that your camera is in focus in is going to be. So by stopping it open, by stopping it closed all the way like that, we get a much nicer depth of field. And that makes it a lot easier to focus. That's kind of like cheating for focus. The only issue is that when you do that, it's very easy to shake your camera. So if we were to shake the camera a little bit, now my image of the camera's little screen is not out of focus, but you can kind of tell that this picture is garbage. So the trick is, have a really good, really stable tripod when you're shooting in low light. If you're shooting macro, stop it nice and closed. Use long exposure times if you don't have a whole lot of light. Use macro extension tubes so that you can get the right focus that you want. Maybe use a more appropriate lens than this, maybe a 50mm lens or whatever. I'm using this because I thought like zoom might be needed, but it turns out that the moment you zoom this lens with the extension tube on it, it just goes completely out of focus. You can't really do it. And just, play around with your subjects. Use a remote. I have a cheapy remote here that I got on Amazon. That's right. But the nice thing is, you can run this remote without the batteries actually plugged in. The not so nice thing is, there's no way to turn the remote off, so that shim of cardboard there is functional. Oops. Maybe I should take a picture of this to leave a review of that to complain about the fact that there's no way to turn it off. Let's see how that turns out. Fortunately, the 30 seconds of exposure time gives us plenty of time to get out of frame. Hooray! Exciting. Perfect. Now, as we were saying, play around with your subject. So I'm going to try to take a picture of that little cardboard shim and press the button while I'm looking at it through the viewfinder, and then let it go and see if the picture comes out at all. Okay. That was silly. Maybe it'll work. That very nicely shows off that shim. It's a little bit soft focus, so we'll give it another few shots. Okay, we bounced the tripod there. You see that? You seeing double double? You seeing double double? I'm seeing double double. I don't know, that might be the best that we're going to get it without a sandbag on the tripod, so we may want to stop it back down. Stop it back open. Love these extension tubes. Don't put them on this lens. This camera's great, but doesn't shoot video. There's your how-to on macro photography and some product reviews in one.